Hello and welcome to another episode of the Lions Den Podcast, episode 49, M&M Victory, which I'm pretty sure you guys know what M&M stands for. If you don't, I will explain later in the show. Different kind of format, but you guys still have the QR exposed on the screen to follow Los de Arriba Oficial for the chant and to follow us on Twitter at the Lions Den Podcast to follow everything that we have grouped in English, followed by our accounts. Monday Night Futbol. I'm so excited to talk about what happened in this Mazatlan match. It's going to be a very interesting talk that we'll have today. Full game. We're waiting on Javier to get on in the next couple of minutes, but we're going to go ahead and get started. Carlos, Louis, Jose, how are we feeling tonight, guys?
I think left with a bittersweet feeling, even though it was a win. Didn't feel like a win.
Yes, sir.
It didn't feel like a win at the moment. It felt more and more like a win in the days since, just taking everything into consideration. But yeah, definitely, if there is such a thing, I don't think there is such a thing as a win that feels like a loss, but that's as close as it gets. What we saw. Because you often talk about a draw. You often talk about a draw that feels like a win or a loss, depending on how the game was played out. I think there's often a real conversation there. When you win and you get the 3 points, I mean, when the dust settles and you look at what a great position the team is in now with only 4 match days remaining, and you take all that into consideration, it's still a good win, even though it felt terrible at the time.
Sir.
Well, we'll definitely discuss more about it. Let's kind of just lay out kind of how we were coming into this game on Friday. It was very, very interesting, and I can't wait till we just get into the talking of it because there's so much, especially as us fans, we try and have our logic go in our emotion and kind of, it just goes back and forth. So, Carlos, are you ready to give us your club team news?
Yes, ma'am. Let's do it.
Do it.
All right. So first off, let's start off with Rodolfo Cota. He's with the national team currently. That's why he's missed the last 2 match days. So he will be in the Netherlands, where Mexico is going to face off against Netherlands and Algeria, 2 very tough games. Secondly, we had Meneses, Aquino, and Jairo called up to the national teams, but Jairo's not going to be going because of that injury. We'll talk about that in a bit. And then I guess some big news from last week was Jairo Moreno's possible departure from León. Some rumors sparked up again. We had heard this a couple of weeks ago, but they came up again last week about some clubs interested in Spain and Portugal about acquiring him. And there's talks about big money being on the table for him. So what do you guys think?
To add to that, the transfer window for Spain, I think it just closed today.
Today was the deadline for most of the big European leagues, including Spain and Portugal. Yes. So if it hasn't happened by now, it's not going to happen until at least next season.
Mm-hmm.
But the rumors are there, and I don't know how true they are. I don't know if there's any real source. I think the only source I saw that was, I guess, official would be Marca, but I don't know how legit they are.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Jose. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I feel usually when rumors have substance, it's usually when not just when you see it in one source, when you see it in multiple sources. So for me, I think it's just like maybe right now it was just like agents trying to bring up the player so that I can see if any parties or any clubs were interested, and then maybe future transfer. But I think that's probably what it was. But just like you were saying, like it was, you only started on Marca, so I don't think it wasn't like something solid. I think it was just that it was just a rumor.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure the interest is there. I'm sure it's true. that the interest is there, but there's a big difference between the interest being there and a deal being anywhere close to getting done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is an awkward time to be making international transfers of that nature. But I mean, I'm sure the interest is there. Jairo has a great reputation around the league. When we had Tom Marshall on, he said out front, Jairo Moreno might be the best player in the league, and he covers the whole league.
Mhm.
So, I'm sure the interest is there. He's young. He's gifted. If he's going to flourish in Europe, he's going to have to get those crosses down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure the interest is there. I'm sure that that there are teams interested, but that doesn't mean that we're close to any sort of transfer. He is and remains one of our most transferable pieces, though, in terms of big splashes, along with John Meneses, I would say.
Yeah. See.
Yeah, how long is his contract, Jose?
I believe. Well, you said that in the Marca that they were saying that
Marca reported.
that he just renewed, but I don't know if I can trust it, because I mean, usually Marca is good. It's just I didn't see any other sources that were reporting that he renewed his contract, so I don't know what to make of it. But
Yeah.
as far as I know, he's among the players that will have 6 months. So his contract actually expires at the end of the Clausura 2021.
Okay.
As far as I know, but we'll see. I mean, if we see any other sources are reporting that he renewed his contract, then yep, it must be true. But for now, I think we'll leave it at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's important to note that it was Marca from Colombia who reported it, not Marca Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's the Marca based in Colombia. At least that's the link that I gave you. I don't know if there was a publication by Marca in Mexico, but
that's an interesting thing, though. Like it's only Marca. Like if it was Colombia, you would think there will be other sources in Colombia reporting that he just renewed his contract. But we'll just keep an eye on it.
I'm sure it's like you said, Jose. Like his representation in Colombia approached Marca Colombia, and they're like, we're in a weird time for transfers, but we don't want people to forget about this dude.
Mm-hmm.
So like, can you I don't know, grease the wheels a little bit and make it seem like there's a ton of interest? I'm sure there is at least some interest again.
Yeah.
But I'll bet there were some wheels greased there a little bit, just like you said.
They don't want the entrance to cool off, so they want to keep the stuff hot,
Yeah.
Keep it going.
Yeah, definitely.
And
I think it's just go on.
I was gonna say, historically, Porto has been one of the teams that has been in the Mexican market. They've bought players from the Mexican market. Most recently, I think they bought Mateus Uribe from America, and and Marchesín. Yeah. So if they're in need of a left back, a young left back, then you're looking at the best left back in the league right now, arguably.
Best young left back for sure.
Yeah.
With the most promising, brightest future.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And qualities you can't teach, like his build, just his movements, and I mean
those
things you can't. Those strides he has, and his height. I mean, he's. I know he's never really in a position to get on the end of a header, but if he could add that to his game, he could be so versatile. He's got a bright future.
Yep,
for sure.
Yeah, it's no surprise. So definitely, he's going to be on the radar of any team, and we just need him to be campeón with us first before he goes anywhere else. That's just me.
No, I think
Carlos, go ahead and give us the lineup.
Yeah, I think we're all in the same boat with you on that one.
All right, let's go ahead and get into the lineup that we had. Basically, we repeated the same lineup. Alfonso Blanco was on goal. The back line was Jairo, Steven, Barreiro, William Tecillo, Fernando Navarro. In the midfield, we had Aquino and Luis Montes. On the wings, we had Avion and Mena. And then up top, we had Gigliotti and Sosa. So I think the last 2 match days we had the exact same lineup, and it's working well, sort of. Any thoughts? Any surprises?
No, not really. You and I had speculated, Carlos, on our duo show that perhaps the way Meneses had been playing, they'd be hard pressed not to give him his starting spot back. And you were like, I think Meneses is going to start. I was like, I don't know, I could go either way. I think I like the way he's playing as a super sub right now, and I mean, he did it again. So I think they're going to stick with that for a while. Avion is, I mean, he's going to be able to go 60, 70 minutes, and he's not going to do anything stupid. He's going to be in there, and he's going to get the job done. He's going to eat some minutes. He's going to do well. You're not worried about him making a blunder that's going to cost you the match. So I think he's a good option to start. And then you have that quality on the bench in Meneses who can come in and do what he's been doing the last 3 matches, 3 or 4. I can't remember now.
3.
3. Yeah, goals off the bench in 3 straight matches. I mean, that's an ideal scenario for a super sub. So yeah, I guess I said I didn't think he would start, but when you said, yeah, I think he's going to start, I kind of was like, he could, I might buy that. But I'm glad he didn't, because I think right now still he's better to come off the bench. And Avion, just the workhorse, he just eats up
very
those minutes.
effective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meneses has been very effective as a super sub, and if we have a comparison between Jean Meneses coming off a bench in so little time versus Joel Campbell, we clearly see a difference. And I love Joel Campbell. I just don't know what's going on in order for him to just maximize, because we know what he's capable of doing. I just don't know what's going on. Meneses literally has been more effective than Joel Campbell. Maybe something switched in his mind with Meneses being a starter until he left him out of convocatoria. You know what? Let's bring you back, but we're going to sub you in. Boom. Next game. Boom. What is it going to take for Joel Campbell to have that extra push? Or what is it? Is it just, am I just like overreacting, or do you guys think there's something going on?
No.
Or
Look, I mean, it cost Campbell his international call up. If that's not a wake up call, I don't know what will be. Like, seems like one of those dudes who for whom that's really important. I mean, I guess it's really important to everybody except Chapo. But I mean, it cost him his international call up. He was a not just a regular call up, but a titular indiscutible for Costa Rica for a long time, and he didn't even get called up for this most recent round. So if that's not a wake up call that he's got to fix whatever's ailing him, I don't know what will be.
Yeah.
I don't know. Right now, Meneses and Campbell are like the sun and the moon. Like how they were both in pretty bad shape, football wise speaking. Like they couldn't find their rhythm for a while, and it took Meneses like 1 or 2 games that he had to be on the bench to get that wake up call that he needed. What is it gonna take for Campbell to wake up? Like we need him. Like it's we pay big money for him in concerning this pandemic. Like maybe not as much as in previous transfers, but like considering this pandemic, we pay a lot of money for him, and we are not getting what we pay for. I don't know.
Yeah, he looks pretty bad out there. He looks pretty awful. But I think we all know that. I think we all know that he has like a really, really great capacity. He's a player who can, just like last season, where he had a bad string of games, and then he comes in during that Juarez game and just kills it. I think he can go off at any moment. He's not a player who I don't know. I feel like he's a player who has these.
That
These-
is
Uh-huh.
exactly what's frustrating though. His
Well,
inconsistency. But
it's
but
kind
but,
of
but
a
but it's a known for him though. That's
But I
that's
mean,
that's what's hampered his career. So, I guess.
it's kind of a microcosm of what of the whole team season. Like
Mhm.
they go through these long stretches where they're not doing anything. Then out of nowhere they get 2 great goals, and it's like, ¿qué les cuesta? Why aren't they doing that the entire game?
Mhm.
I think Campbell's form is kind of a microcosm of that, because he's going to break out like he did in that Juarez game. He's going to have his game where that happens, and you're going to be like, well, why couldn't you have been doing that all along? I think it just kind of goes along with the way the team has been playing all season. Less so in the last few matches. Well, we're gonna talk about this one, and then we're never gonna think about it again. But the games before this one, where the form had been on a definite upswing, we'd seen less of that. But it's kind of been the story of the season, and I think Campbell's just a small part of that, exemplifying the same tendencies.
So yeah, all I hope is that hopefully just like Mena and Meneses, that like as we are approaching the last stretch of the season, somehow Campbell will appear either when we begin liguilla, when it really matters, and shut everyone's mouth up. So like that's all I'm hoping. I'm
And
just
see,
hoping for the
that's a lot of pressure. You know what I mean? Like, if he's not like giving me something right now, do I believe in him? Yes, but I need something right now. I need something from now to the end of the season. Like, give me something. Gigliotti's giving me something. He's like giving me like hope. He's giving me like effort. Like, I just need that to click with Joel Campbell. You sub in Meneses, he changes the game. We've had Joel Campbell sub in. We need him to change the game. We need him to solve the game, because apparently we're stuck in situations like this where I don't know if it's in their head, like, oh, it's Mazatlan. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I knew this wasn't going to be an easy game. I don't know why the sense of urgency just kicks until after. Yeah, and it's happened twice to me, which is really funny. When I tweet like, "Come on," and a couple minutes later they scored. I'm like, what is it going to take? What is it going to take? The milagro with the penal at the end. And I'm seeing Mena's face. I was just like, oh dear God, don't miss this right now. We're gonna be the laughing stock because
I was the same way.
Right?
Yeah.
Javier, did you watch
His
the game?
face was just like,
I was shouting it. I was shouting at this. Don't bleeping miss this. Don't do it, bro.
Don't do it, because even though we have commentators and multiple TV, like, oh my God, Leon's been playing so amazing. Oh my God, they're in first. Oh my God. Okay, we don't need to be the laughing stock. We need to at least keep up with the reputation. And I don't understand why we keep doing this. Why do we keep suffering? Why? Till the last minute.
Yes,
at the time,
I don't like that. I'm used to it, but I don't like it.
Well, and of course, we didn't know at the time we would be líderes no matter what happened. Even if we lost that game, we would still be líderes. But we didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
So it was like, and especially Mazatlan, as much as we've ripped Mazatlan on here for their move and taken away, such a long-standing franchise, and all of our criticism on here, to then lose to them, especially with all the players they had missing in the game plan they laid out, it would have been
horrible.
Dreadful. Horrible.
It would be horrible in every single aspect, because of the fact that the portero titular wasn't playing, and even I was like, oh, we better score more than 2 or 3, right? But then I thought about, like, no, we have this fama de levantar muertos, and it did remind me of that one Veracruz game.
And
yes, that's what I was about to say.
I didn't want to say it, because I didn't want to trigger a flag, but yes, we do.
It gave me that vibe all the way until the end. Even when they called the penalty, I'm like, oh my God. Like the last game with Veracruz, when I felt that was when Chapo Montes saved us, and with Mena, I was kind of like, I kind of want Chapo to take this penalty. But in the end, I do agree with you guys. It's like the sense of urgency. Like, why is it that we could have taken care of this in the first half, I feel. And in the second half,
we shouldn't have been down. Period.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have been down.
Second half.
Sorry, I'm
half.
mad.
No, you're right. second half, it's
Let it
like
all out, Carly.
they understood the urgency. Like the first 10 minutes was all of them. Like, metieron gol como en el 50, 51, and then 55 Sansores again with like great contragolpe, stealing the ball. And I was like, man, see, this is what I don't like about having to face these teams, because I do feel like the players kind of feel like it's just Mazatlan. We don't really have to worry, and that's not the idea. That's not what I want my team to be doing. You got to like really take every team seriously, especially Mazatlan. You don't want to even tie with Mazatlan because of what Kari said about everybody talking about on the news. León, el mejor equipo que juega, and imagine if they would have barely gone away with the tie. It would have not felt good, and anímicamente maybe against America, it would have dragged along against that game, and we probably would have been more like con dudas if we were going to play well against America. At least I know I was having that doubt, like when we were down 1-0, I'm like, are we going to play this against America? Oh, no, Jose. There you go.
I don't think America's going to play that way against us.
True.
So here's the thing. Like, we are very, very, very close to securing a spot in the top 4, but the teams immediately behind us need to play with a little more urgency if they want to assure them. America's not going to come in. I mean, yes, and then they do come in and to play Ratonero, But I just can't imagine America coming in to play Ratonero. I mean, I feel like Mazatlan did it because they, out of necessity.
And they did it well.
Got a raw deal, to be honest with you. I mean,
they basically were just hoping to keep that 1-0.
But like, well, I mean, Valencia, given the players he had available and the opponent he was going up against, I mean, that was the only logical thing to do. It was the only logical way to play. I don't think America will play that way against us. I can't imagine them coming out with that kind of game plan. That's just not. I mean, even when León has been really dangerous and when we played against them, that's never the way they've come out and played against us. But again, our style has changed too. We're not just a contragolpe team now. We like to have the ball. We've kind of changed the way we played too. It'll be interesting to see. I don't think they'll come out on that way against us. But Mazatlan, they didn't have a choice. I think Valencia got a raw deal. There was nothing else he could have done. And what he did, and his plan almost worked to perfection. But as they say, he played not to lose. He went out there with no intentions of winning that game. They wanted to draw from the start. He went out to try to get the draw, and he almost got the win. Then he got nothing. The football gods punished him for playing not to lose in the end. That's kind of the way I view it now, with a couple days later to not be so bitter about how we won.
Yeah, I was going to say, at the end, I'm like, I don't care. We won. Like, it was horrible the way it turned out, because I think it should have been more goals for León.
I felt better the next day.
Excuse me?
I felt better the next day about the win, but that night was.
Yeah, see, it's como mal acostumbrados, guys. I really think it's that. Like I really think that we want to always win por goleada y gustando, because we know that's what we could do that. That's what we're kind of expecting. Pero como que todo el torneo, I feel like it's gonna be like that. It's just gonna be like we're gonna be suffering, guys. Like, I already accepted it. We're gonna win, but suffering. I feel.
It doesn't necessarily have to.
Accepted.
But do we have to?
It doesn't necessarily have to be that way, because
we're mad.
We played our best game against Pumas, and it was the perfect game. Yeah. So no, we don't really have to see that all tournament long. We can see how we played against Pumas and play that way.
Yeah, but then Pumas are going to be like, nos expulsaron nuestro portero, and it's like, see, that's not even true either, because León tenía mucha llegada. Even with Mazatlan tenía mucha llegada, which is kind of at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, but concretar más, like that's the only thing that I think we're all kind of mad that we don't have to be.
That's been the.
We've come to accept it that this season we're really going to see a goleada because of the past marcadores, right? So me being comfortable, be like, you know what? If we won 2-0, 2-1, more conservative, because like you guys said, we like to hold possession of the ball. We like having the ball. Like, I'm thinking, okay, 2-0 win. Okay. But let's say, 2-1 win, right? Let's say I guessed, okay, 2-1 win. Okay, I'm thinking a 2-1 win comfortably, not a 2-1 win scrambling the last 10, 15 minutes to the very end of the game, And then people would see that like, oh,
looking
2-1.
at the
Yeah,
clock.
but you don't know what happened from like the beginning of the second half to the end. Like that's where things change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it has to take us to be down to like salvar al último. That's a miracle. That to me was a miracle. We literally, Mena could have like, VAR has messed up. What if they didn't give us a penalty? And what if Mena like, like, they gave us a penalty and then Mena missed it? We've been a 1-1. Would you guys been okay with that?
No.
Honestly, no.
No, I would have been more
think-
mad.
To be
I
fair,
think,
I don't think VAR was involved in that PK. To me, it was about as clear a
No.
PK as you're
No, it was-
ever going to see.
Yeah,
It was
but then
extremely clear.
never called
go
VAR.
we go to the Santos game where the goal didn't go in and VAR, like, I'm just saying it's a hit or miss. It's a hit or miss.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a penalty. I did see people say it wasn't, and I'm like,
No,
Yeah.
Yeah, if you said it wasn't, you don't know the rules.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what? It's because they're trying to have this agenda that they're trying to help Leon ever since. Because I've been hearing it ever since Pumas, and like, oh, quieren que sean super líderes. Like, no, man. Like, I'm gonna say after that Morelia game in cuartos, I'm like, if this is how it's gonna be with VAR, then like we're gonna take that. Like, all right, I don't think that was falta de Mena, but then when things like this happen, like it's like, hey, that's part of the new game. Like that was a penalty because it was a penalty.
There was even a penalty that they didn't cut on Leon, and I think like the Leon players they didn't really be insane, and like that, I think the only one that said something and very like mildly was Chapo Montes, and that was it. But they just like went about it, right? Because they know that el arbitraje, they're not gonna listen to you.
Yeah.
I can't stand that narrative about how we're only winning because the arbitros are helping us. Since when has the arbitraje ever been interested in helping Leon?
Exactly.
Ever in history?
I go back to that Morelia game.
Yeah. When have they ever been interested in helping? It's just ardidos being ardidos. They can't stand that we are pretty clearly, up at the top, and there's nothing they can do, and there's nothing they can do about it.
It's been like this for what, 4 seasons? It's now like last 4 seasons. Like we've been up there.
There should be like
and they still can recognize that Leon is the one that's playing the best football right now. I don't know what is it gonna take for them to recognize that. Like
they're gonna probably say a championship, but it's true. Leon's been the team that's been most constantly playing the way at a level, but also de la ayuda of the arbitros. I think we can go back. We can see so many moments in time where actually we've been perjudicado por el árbitro. Like I really did. I remember seeing it a lot in like two. But I remember Jesus Martinez would never want to talk about it, and that's good because when we win, we're not gonna say it was por el arbitraje, and when we lose, tampoco. That's kind of how it's supposed to be. But I've been hearing it more with Pumas in that game, so I'm really just talking to them right now because they've been the ones saying it more than anything. I'm like, oh my god, like you guys don't even understand. Like, how is it possible? Talavera was your figura in the first half. That means your team.
If your goalkeeper is a figura, something is really going wrong because that means your defense is nowhere to be seen. Like I think for that game, there was one player that we couldn't even get past. Like forget his name, John Mexican player, a Gambit star. I forget his name though. Anyway, him, but everyone else. If it wasn't for Talavera.
Yeah. And I guess that's pretty much it. But with this game in particular, you're right. It was kind of like, okay, but it was a fair win though. It wasn't like it was really a help. It was that was a clear penal because it's in the rule books. That's just how it's going to be played now. There's no complaining about it. It's just you kind of don't want to win like that. I guess that's where where I'm getting at. Like I didn't want to win like that, but we won.
On the other hand, we dominated the game. We dominated the game. We dominated the run of play. Like it's
anybody know?
Yeah, it
was like 73%.
Yeah,
it's become the norm now to be in the high 70s. This is literally the most possession that we have ever seen Leon.
You're right.
It's like it's mind-blowing when you think about it. Like you have over 70% possession.
Yeah. It's been like that for a while, and you would think like we would make more goals, right? And I think that's where we're coming from. Like we shouldn't be doing like this, suffering like this.
Yeah,
It's just the constant of this season. It just seems to be the theme, and hopefully it ends. Maybe that goleada that we're waiting for will be next jornada. Maybe, who knows? I don't know, but it just it just never, you never know. Like sometimes we have a good game with the team we don't think we're gonna have a good game, and teams that we think we're gonna beat easily give us the hardest games. So that's La Liga Mexicana, I think, right? Like you just never.
Yeah.
And especially in 2020.
Yeah, right.
That's how it is. And you just saw Cruz Azul lose to Toluca.
Yeah, see,
pretty badly too.
Yeah.
and yeah, I feel bad for them because like
you're on your own there.
Yeah.
No, I mean like I feel bad for them because they were saying, oh, es el equipo, este es el año para ellos, and I'm like, how would you feel like that after losing to Toluca like that?
Well, it's always I mean, it's always Cruz Azul año. So it's been done before, so no, it's nothing new.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying. I think it's about cerrando bien el torneo, right? And I don't think they're gonna have a good cierre de torneo. They got some teams they gotta play still, and I think ours is pretty easy. I don't.
Yeah, first place. I think 3 more points pretty much seals not necessarily first place, but it seals a top 4 finish. Just because I haven't done the math. Jose, you can probably do the math, taking into consideration all the teams that still have to play each other.
Okay.
But I'm not asking you to do it right now. But
go ahead. I just
in his head, like.
I say you can probably do it better than I can because you're more you're more inclined that way than I am.
Mm.
But like considering all the teams directly behind us that still have to play each other, I think one more result like probably does it for us. Seals a top 4 finish, and that's really the most important thing.
Yeah, definitely, because
yeah,
we don't want to go through all the clasificación business. Like that's not. No.
Yeah, because it's anybody's game.
Yeah.
And I was telling
Pretty
you, Carlos, on our duo episode that in those 5 to 12 knockout games, there are going to be some upsets. It's just they're going to be 2 or 3 upsets.
Yeah.
And that's why you don't have to deal with that at all.
I feel like a team like Puebla or Bravos probably.
Yeah.
Those are the teams that I'm like, yeah, they could probably give like a Tigres and
Atlas, dude. Atlas is playing really well right now.
Atlas can qualify like 12, 11, probably.
Yeah, I said
we don't need them.
Atlas is going to be 12. It's going to be 5, and Atlas is going to shock the world. Yeah.
Who's Atlas coach?
Atlas Tigres.
They just got a new coach. Like as soon as they got that new coach, they started playing really well.
Is he the returnee? The one that there used to be their coach?
It's Diego Coca, isn't it? I think it's Diego Coca,
right?
He was
Diego Coca, the one that was in Xolos.
He was at Santos, right? At one point.
I don't know Santos, but
I don't know about Santos.
Cholo for sure.
Huh.
Coca, yeah, I know Coca.
Yeah, but there's going to be surprises for sure.
Yeah, that's why, and it's going to be a direct elimination, right? Just one game.
The repechaje games, are one-offs. The regular liguilla will still be.
That should be fun for whoever has to play those.
I want it to be like
I'm gonna watch the heck out of those games and enjoy them, not being part of them. Yeah.
That's gotta be some suffering right there because if
what's gonna happen, guys, is that Tigres is gonna be 5th. And they're going to face Atlas, and they're going to lose the último segundo a lo Atlas. Like, Atlas is going to win. So the maldición de no camp can start, like, people, they don't believe in it. I'm like, all right, guys, because they're all fans. They swear, like, sometimes they troll that we beat León in su estadio, and I have to put up that meme where, like, hey, man, so de Cruz Azul, look what happened to them. Oops.
So, graphical sample.
But yeah,
let's go ahead and go with individual performance reviews, and let's start off with Barreiro. Guys, from a 1 to a 10, how would you review his performance versus Mazatlan. He had 85% of accurate passes, leading of accurate passes with the CEO with 94.1%, which he's just so classy. But let's talk about Barreiro. What are we thinking? 1 to a 10.
I'll let you go. I'll let you guys go first. Because I'm
I want to start with like an apology or something with Barreiro because like he's been doing really well. He's been doing really, really well. I remember last season I was really hard on him, but I think it was acoplarse un poco, and with the CEO maybe. I'm with this specific game. I don't think he. I think he did a good job. I just don't know. I don't know to give anybody more than an 8 because I think I didn't like the game in particular. So I'm gonna stay with an 8. That's like the highest I'm gonna give anybody. An 8.
Okay.
I'll give him an 8.5.
Anybody else?
8.5.
Okay.
He had a couple of nice cortes.
8.2.
No. He had a couple of nice.
Javier, you just have to like cement one because you keep changing after.
Okay, 8.2.
He had a couple of nice cortes defensivos and really like the offensive side where we really need to get going earlier in matches. There's nothing Barreiro can do about that. Yeah.
I'm gonna go a little lower here, guys. I'm gonna go with a 7.
Oh, wait. I'm not the only one.
7.
Oh.
And let me explain my reasoning.
Controversial. Let's go. Open mic.
Let me explain my reasoning. Hot take. Let me explain my reasoning. The goal that Mazatlan ended up scoring. If you guys watched the replay, it was Barreiro and Navarro who were defending. Barreiro was not vocal at all. He was not vocal at all, saying, "Hey, there's a guy behind you. You might want to, turn around." And it was somewhat Navarro's fault as well by not clearing the ball. He just kind of looked at it as it crossed by him. So both of them, I think, were responsible for falling asleep. And you can't fall asleep, especially against a team who you give them one chance, they're going to convert. So yeah, I'm going to go with the 7 for Barreiro, just for that silly mistake.
That is exactly what I was thinking, and I thought I was going to be too harsh. Yeah,
we're on the same page.
I mean, he's been a whole different player from last season, but I feel once in a while he still gets that one game or like that one moment where he loses his focus, and then that
he shows his Barreiro-ness, and then
I mean he's much better, but don't get me wrong, but I feel he still needs a little bit more to just, but so 7.
Okay, interesting side of the spectrum, but Carlos is well explained. His 7. Let's go to Emanuel Gigliotti, which I don't know if it's just me, but do you guys look like he looks more fit in Leon than he was in Toluca? Yeah, or is it just my eyes doing something crazy?
Yeah, he looks
too much in Gigliotti. I think so, though. I think you're right.
In better shape, you mean?
Yes.
Better shape.
Definitely.
Yeah, better shape. Definitely. Like he just looks more lighter on his feet.
Well, right now he's on vacation, right, with Campbell and right? He's in la playa.
Yeah, they're in Puerto Vallarta. They Instagrammed about it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Hey man, maybe that's what Campbell kind of needs right now, hanging out with those guys, vacationing, and then coming back and catching some.
I don't know. Campbell's obviously Campbell's obviously got a mental hang up. I just don't know if it's like.
I feel like it's something
I don't know if it's something like he just needs to turn it on, or I don't know. But we're not talking about him. We're talking about Gigliotti.
No, we're talking about bring it back. Gigliotti, Emanuel Gigliotti.
Gigliotti.
He had a 6.4 score on SofaScore. He only had 7 accurate passes, which was 50% of his passes for that night.
Ooh.
Out of 3 dribble attempts, he got 2 successfully, and ground duels, he won 4 out of 10. Not that of a great night for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely not his best night.
7.5. Well, that's
That's
what I asked.
see,
I
see
had
that's
an 8, but kind of
that's
with those datos, I'm like, yeah, no, 7.5.
that's yeah, that's what I mean. Like when I try to like lower the score, because I feel like sometimes we nos dejamos llevar por los colores and we given maybe a little bit too much that we
Mhm.
should. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. He's even though he had a bad night, I at least I give him props for his attitude. He's still trying even though he had a game. So I don't know. Like at least I wish some other players had that. Like at least even though he had a bad game, the attitude is right there.
Attitude, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we've said from the beginning he's really embracing this opportunity. I feel like he was kind of lost and in a bad place with the Luca, just not scoring, and with a team that couldn't get him any touches, and just a bad situation. And I think he's really grateful to be here with us now. And I don't, given the pretty low expectations we had of him coming in, we expected him to be like a maybe very marginally slightly better Leo Ramos.
Mhm.
And I think he's gone a couple steps beyond that. I mean, I think he's shown up when we really needed a goal. I mean, he had that great strike that of course was turned away by
Yeah,
VAR. But I
that was a
mean,
shame.
he's still making his presence felt in some way every game. So I'll give him an 8.
7.5 for
Okay.
me. I think
Okay.
it's not completely his fault that he had a bad game or that he wasn't shining. I think that's the fact that
Mhm.
Mazatlan was just sitting back and giving him no opportunity to really strike the ball or anything. I mean, he had one good header that went wide, and I think he should have converted that.
Mhm.
But like you said, pass accuracy not that great. Yeah, it wasn't really his night. I'll give him a 7.5.
Okay. And let's move on to Luis Chapito Montes on Sofa's score. He got a score to 7.3, 84.3 of his passes were accurate. Dribble attempts 4 out of 4. Ground duels 1. He won 7 out of 13. And let's see, crosses out of 5 crosses, 1 was successful. He played the whole 90 minutes. What are we thinking about Chapito Montes? Obviously, he's vital backbone. Kind of remains consistent. What did you guys think in this particular game of Chapo
Yeah,
Montes?
I think I'll probably give him like a 7.5. But I think it's because it's I think that was one of the reasons why we struggled too. I feel like somehow he was isolated. Like I didn't really see him connecting with everyone else, like moviendo los hilos like he usually does. I don't know if it was because of something that
Mhm.
Mazatlan did, that Valencia did, maybe to like, but I didn't see like many instances where they would pass, like, because usually they pass the ball to him like in the middle and then he just starts passing around,
Yeah.
and you like when he would get the ball there will be like 2 3 guys around him already, so
Mm-hmm.
they were marking him very close. Like I think that's another reason why we struggle too. So it wasn't his best night, but I think he was definitely one of the better, or if not the better player. Even though it was kind of like you didn't really see him, it was a quiet game for him.
Yeah,
But
I think maybe his best moment last night was telling John Meneses to take that free kick. Like that was a moment of like maturity from your captain. Like Chapo can take any free kick he wants. All he has to say is, "I'm taking this one," and it's his. But he told, I'm sure. I mean, I wasn't in on the conversation, obviously, but I get the impression, he
Your
told Meneses,
telekinesis, bro.
"Look, we got a rookie goalkeeper who's kind of shifted a little bit over too far to the far post because he's expecting the shot to come in from my left.
Yeah.
why don't you take this and we can fool him? We might not be able to fool Sebastian Sosa, but we can fool this rookie keeper. Take this. And he did, and it worked to perfection. That was probably his best moment on the night. Yeah.
Yeah. Once he actually tried to dive for the ball, it was already too late.
Yeah.
It was a perfect.
Yeah, I didn't really pay that much attention because even I was like, "Oh, Chapo's gonna take it," and then once Meneses took it, yeah. Well, once the announcer said "Gol de Meneses," I'm like, "Oh, it wasn't Chapo," and it was kind of like, "Yeah, see, like it was pretty much one of those plays where kind of everybody expects one play, and Chapo knows that you expect it." So you're right. That probably was exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened.
Mhm.
And look, Meneses 3 consecutive subbing in and scoring. That's pretty.
Which fun
good
fact,
for
guys,
him.
Meneses now has the same goals that he scored last season in 10 matches. He has 4 goals overall.
Mm.
So he's exceeding his
Nice.
expectations, right?
Right now, that's Meneses'
That is pretty good though.
top tally like ever in Leon.
3, right?
For season
4.
like the match that he scored 4. So if he scores more than 4, he's gonna score more than he has ever any other season.
That's hey man, that's good. That's good to know about the catch.
Hopefully he saves some of those goals for liguilla.
Yeah, save some Takeshi,
Yeah.
and maybe that's where Campbell's gonna wake up. I don't know.
No. Carlos
Hopefully.
wants to see them all right now. Right now is when he has to score, not in liguilla. No, right now. Right now.
Yeah, if you're there, tap it in. Don't make it pretty. Don't
And like
You know.
I
Don't be
mentioned-
cute.
don't be cute like Campbell and miss.
Who said that? Was that Louis? Is that your word? Cute? Yeah,
That
right,
was Louis. That was Louis'
Yeah.
word.
That's a Louis word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's
That's
how I
That's a
consistently
Louis
have
thing.
talked about Joel Campbell this season, who tries to do way more than is necessary. Yeah,
yes.
not Meneses though.
That's not even doing anything.
Meneses is what'd you say?
Yeah.
Me?
See, like I mentioned this before, but far as I know, like I had to go back and look, but it is our best interest to have both Mena and Meneses score in one match, because every time they both score in a match, we win.
Mm.
It's Eminem victory. Last time was Eminem Sunday. I guess we're gonna keep having Eminem episodes because these are the only 2 goal scorers. But I mean, we can add Gigliotti if he would have had that goal, which comes up to what, 4 or 5? He would have scored that one.
That would have been his
For
fifth.
Gigliotti?
That would have been his fifth. I
Yeah,
believe.
if he
Yes.
5th goal, right?
Wow.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Which is
so let's not forget about him.
yeah, which
That's
is
really good for Gigliotti.
He's probably had more than Ramos ever had
That's
with
more than
us.
Ramos.
Yes. The Ramos only had 3.
Yeah, that's more than
Okay.
Ramos.
First season.
No,
so
And also, Gigliotti just has those movimientos that are kind of like, I'm not going to compare him to Boselli, but he had como remates de cabeza. I'm like, man, that's kind of what we need him to do more, right? And
I mean,
think
he
produce
looks
more.
lighter on his feet. He looks very, more quick with more movement.
Yeah.
But guys,
like-
what I've been saying is that Navarrito is our secret weapon. Okay, this guy is just like up there, and I'm just like, I think it was that avion pass, the beautiful pass to like Navarro, and he was right in front, and I'm like, who is that? I'm like, no way, it's Navarro. I'm just like, he is just everywhere.
It también cabeció, huh? Yeah.
It was early in the first half,
That's
and I compare him to kind of how JJ had his movements around, and we're having a right back go up there like another freaking added delantero and do these kind of movements, and I think that's kind of what's going to help us too. I mean, I just think it's a pretty good player to have, and people, why is Navarrito and selección and all that stuff. I mean, I think we've already kind of discussed in other episodes about that, but I think it's really hard to add a player like that into the mix of Selección Mexicana because they don't play like Leon. You know what I mean? They have Tata has his own type of movement, and I don't think he would give Navarrito the liberty of moving how he moves in Leon. It's 2 different things. It's 2 totally different things.
No, yeah,
Estratégicamente, he wants players
He'd
to stay.
expect him to play like a traditional right back, as
Yeah.
would have who was the last coach, the Colombian dude.
Osorio.
Osorio.
Yeah, Osorio.
El ídolo de
Or,
Jose.
yeah, like
La libreta de
I mean,
Osorio.
he'd be wasted. His skills would be wasted. His skills would be wasted playing as a traditional right back. So yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we've mentioned that he has a unique situation in Leon, and he takes full advantage of it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Ambris, man. Well, it's
For
kind
sure.
of interesting. I was gonna real quick interesting that that even Ambris the way he like I was it was an interview he was talking about how much Menotti influenced him when he was in la selección mexicana and how much he talks about Bielsa and obviously Bielsa is Tata Martino's. So yeah, it's kind of interesting that I do think Ambris, the way he uses Jairo and the way he uses Navarro, that's I kind of see how he connect all the way to Menotti because he was kind of the same way where he would try to, but you see what with Tata and Bielsa, they're more like they don't want you to do that though. They want you to just estar bien atrás, no arriesgar mucho, no, you know. But Ambris isn't, and which is I'm kind of like even with Ambris, I don't think we give him that much credit, but he's very much studied. Just hearing his interviews and stuff like that, like every time I'm more like, he should get a chance one day in la selección. Maybe then Montes can play.
Yes, yeah. Like when I look at Embrace, I can see the European aspects when he like stuff like converting traditional like a winger into a left back or stuff like having a winger played in his opposite like dominant foot. That's stuff that it's stuff like that. That's stuff that you see in European football. It's traditional of stuff you see over there. Like and that's how you see how he's bringing everything. And that's it's stuff that usually you don't see in any other coaches in Mexico. And I think someone else, I forget who, has said it like that he has a lot of aspects of European football that he's implementing in Leon.
Well, he's definitely one of those coaches, man. Like he was definitely paying attention with Aguirre and Atlético de Madrid. But I think even before he got this gig, he just toured Europe for a bit, like just like watching games, and then eventually he got the Leon job. And yeah, he's matured a lot since, I think, in my opinion, since he was with America and Chivas. When people say that que no le fue bien y que o sea, que no le va bien en equipos grandes, I get kind of mad because I'm like, no, he grows as a coach. And now with Leon, he has the liberty to kind of to he's not experimenting in a way because it's not like I feel like with Jairo we all saw it was in pretemporada, right? When he started using him as a left back, but it was kind of like him using all of his weapons, trying to get coaches are the ones that I really do admire, and I think you're right, Jose. He does have a lot of things that are usually seen in Europe. This is why I think Navarro is allowed to do the things that he does, because you guys are all right. I don't think Tata would never let him do that in la selección.
Yeah, there's something that they were talking during the game. I don't know if it was due to like later on we saw that Jairo was subbed off because he was injured, but like how they were talking about how Ambris estaba parando. Because we usually see this when they're attacking, that's only Jairo, Tecillo, Barreiro, that he was playing with. They were playing as like CBs, but this time like Jairo was not really going forward, and I don't know if it was because Jairo was injured already then, or what happened, or if he was experimenting during the game for La Liguilla or something. I don't know.
I don't know, but I asked if did you guys hear the interview he did after the game? He did talk about how he would constantly change because he's the other team coach would change formation. But I think that's normal. But maybe he was kind of seeing something on the other side. Mick probably was like, Yaito, don't go up too much. I don't know. I didn't really catch that. It's like the first half was kind of hard to catch. I don't know what to say about that. If he knew he was injured, I don't think he was. I think it was that little sprint that he did, right. That was. And does
Maybe
anybody know if it's something serious or if it's a
I have not heard anything
ligamentos
about
or
it yet. I don't know if
yeah.
No, you know we won't hear until like days later, unfortunately. I wish we
I mean,
had like a quick.
it looked
Go on.
like
Muscular.
a hamstring strain.
Yeah.
But
how bad
you
is
know,
it?
hamstrings are tricky. Yeah, we don't know how bad it is, but even if it's mild, like you can't rush back from an injury like that because you can aggravate it. And hopefully he's ready to go in a couple of weeks. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him miss the game against America, which would be a shame.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna wrap up this game. Before we leave, Jose has prepared for us a little segment other than stats, just because we are gonna preview next week for the next upcoming game. We decided to split this episode. As you know, there is official FIFA, so unfortunately no Liga MX this week, except for a game, but if it's not Leon, it's whatever to me. Jose, go ahead. Take us away.
Okay. All right. So should I go ahead and just read it?
Yes, because I couldn't fit it. So
yes, cool.
Jose's gonna read us different. What would you say?
Well, some of them are tweets and like sometimes the people comment, and one of them is I think from an article. Well, two of them are from an article. So I'm just gonna read them, and you can either give me your impressions, thoughts. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it?
Okay.
Should I just go ahead and read in Spanish? Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So, first one. Barreiro ha aumentado su nivel desde que llegó a la feria. Y háganle como quieran, no es santo de mi devoción, pero hay que reconocer la situación. Ayer tapó 2 disparos de gol cuando íbamos perdiendo 1-0. Uno al Queen Mendoza y otro al Stegen. So do you agree that he's improved, or do you think?
Yes, he's improved.
I think we had just mentioned that I owe him an apology because how he came last season and how much I criticized them, and then this season I really have I haven't. There's no reason to be like harsh on him because I do see him playing well, and I think he's done much better than last season. Yeah,
I think he has a good partner with him to help him out, and Tecillo has been, our backbone. So definitely think having him as a partner definitely helps him gain confidence. But I do see a lot of improvement from last season to this season. Again, it's with us just giving them time, which sometimes we run out of patience and we want to see, oh, we got a new player. Okay, show us instead of giving some time. But he does look more fit, more lean. So I think he has improved for sure.
Okay. So here's another one that he has the opposite opinion of the one that you mentioned. So, a mí, aunque la estadística diga que es la mejor defensa, no me convence. Está muy maquillada por atajadones de cote y blanco. Cada que un equipo rival llega, se siente peligro. El León se defiende teniendo la pelota y cuando no la tiene, le llegan bastante.
There's some truth to that. I can see why somebody would think that, but I don't agree with that.
Don't agree with it either. Yes, I mean that's why you have a good goalkeeper. That's why even the greatest defenses in the world have the best goalkeepers behind them. They're going to be called into action a couple times a game, but I mean, how many long stretches have we seen where the goalkeeper isn't even in the frame? Like as for most of that first half on Friday, like the ball was in the attacking half so often. Poncho Blanco wasn't even in the frame. He wasn't on the TV. We couldn't even see him on the TV for long stretches, and that's nothing new. I don't know how much I buy that. I mean, yeah, you have a good goalkeeper so that when he needs to make a save, he will. But it's not like, just think about now, if we're talking about Pumas and how many saves Talavera had to make before getting sent off in the game against us. Okay, now that's a defensa maquillada por su portero. Ours, I'm not really buying it.
Yeah,
Carlos, I'm not buying it.
Yeah, and you're taking away credit from Tecillo, who's been extremely great this season, and you're especially taking away credit from Pedro Aquino, who's been all-star form. He's been in his maybe best form we've seen.
Yeah, exactly what Carlos said. I was gonna say something like that because it's true. It's like you're taking away credit that es la mejor defensa del torneo, and it's kind of like saying it's all Cota, and it's everybody. It's un trabajo de conjunto, and it's definitely Tecillo, Aquino, Barreiro. They have a lot to do with the Cota too, but I don't see our team where Cota is la gran figura en todos los partidos. You know what I mean? Our defense is pretty solid, guys.
Yeah,
and I think Barreiro should get credit. It shouldn't be like, oh, Tecillo, good job, not you, Barreiro. They're both in it together. You guys are right. I
mean,
buy
all
that.
of it. We've seen Jairo improve more defensively as well, and kind of how they shift and kind of how they maneuver, and obviously, having a Cota. I mean, I feel safe. Our defense is great. Do I think sometimes when maybe we're left exposed or maybe we don't have the ball, we could do a little bit more hustle? Yeah, but that's not out of the norm. So I think credit should be given.
Every defense has boss. Oh my, perfect. Yeah. Okay. So.
Okay.
I don't know what. I guess this is like regarding the FIFA date. So they're just like commenting on like our players being called up and like que no regresen los seleccionados con lesiones ni con COVID-19. So let's hope. Let's hope.
Yeah.
That's what
my thought. You know my thoughts on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, and then this is just from an article. So, just talking about like, Gil Meneses está de vuelta anímicamente en sintonía con la accionar del equipo en el esfuerzo para recuperar un balón dividido y con la reacción para abrirse al espacio, entrar al área y anotar. Fue la 10ª jornada cuando Nacho Ambriz decidió dejarlo fuera de la convocatoria contra Gallos. Al final del partido, cuando se le cuestionó la ausencia del chileno, el domador solo dijo, fue una decisión técnica, frase que interpretamos de varias maneras. Entonces, so what do you think about that? Do you think Nacho, I mean, in my point of view, that was the best thing Nacho did. So putting Meneses on the bench, and then we're getting this fantastical form of Meneses now.
I remember I used to criticize that rule he had where if you were to get a red card, you weren't able to play in the next game, and then plus another one, right? I criticized it because I'm like, come on, man. But these are things that I think he does because he wants to have control of the locker room in a way. And with Meneses, for sure, it's kind of like telling him, like, if you want your spot back, you got to earn it. Because we all know he doesn't care about nombres. When he was with Querétaro, he had Ronaldinho, and he was like, you're going on the bench. If you're not fit to play, if you're not showing me that you deserve to be titular, you're not going to be titular. And I think that's pretty much what he's doing with Campbell. Maybe Armando Leon in a way, because we haven't seen him in a while. And I think maybe that's why Sambuesa in a way couldn't. Maybe that's why he didn't had that conflict with Ambriz, and maybe that's what I think was happening. Maybe Ambriz was like, "You're not going to play if you're not fit to play." But then again, it was the other aspects of dinero. I think that's one of the things that I read mainly about Sambuesa. But yeah, I think Ambriz is one of those coaches that he's not going to play you if he doesn't think you're fit, and that's in ritmo. I think you're right,
and I think it's fair because we've given David Avion Ramirez a lot of credit because he's also earned that spot. And I think we talked about this in earlier the podcast that we have a good squad where they can compete against each other. Yeah, maybe maybe sitting on Meneses kind of also gave more playing time for Avion. And then it kind of works both ways. It kind of gave Meneses like, okay, maybe I can recover either or. We have a good football player. Maybe Avion, hustles more and more defensively versus Meneses just gives us that kind of take off when he wants to take off. So I'm not looking at it as like, oh, like, you know, it's an urgency, but I'm thinking Meneses has kind of shown us that, yeah, maybe he took a little break off, but he's back, and whenever he gets subbed in, he's in ready mode. And Ramirez has, I mean, he showed up. He has shown up, and I give him credit too.
Yeah, Avion.
Yeah, whenever Campbell wants to show up, that'd be nice
hope.
too. You know,
I hope.
Gigliotti and the CEO and whoever is with him in Vallarta, talk to him right now. They're having an intervention. What's wrong with you, bro? Is it the whole, you know, cuarentena? What's going on? I think it's one of those. I think it's a mental thing with Campbell.
I think it's a mental thing. He's fit. He's always hustling. Maybe just something's not connecting. I'm not sure. I think I'm still trying to figure him out or feel him out in a way. I don't know. I think it's a question.
Here's what I think. Here's what I think. Hot take.
There's
a hot take. Oh, we just do like another segment. Carlos hot takes. Go for
Stephen
it.
Carlos A. Smith.
I have this thing that's like just hot take. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I'll plan that for next time. Go ahead.
So I feel like Meneses is a really humble player, and he's stated it in some of his past interviews, speaking about his upbringing and coming from nothing, you know, being poor, always being humble, coming from a humble background.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when you take a look at Campbell, he's kind of more of a flashy, more of a hard-headed type of guy, and he has a nice resume behind him, so he might not take those slaps on the wrist by Ambriz as gently as Meneses would. So I feel like he's more agrandado, Campbell is, and so he's more hard-headed. He's probably not going to take that punishment as lightly as Meneses would. That's what I think.
Yeah. Also, he strikes me as kind of having the Carlos Vela syndrome. Like I don't know. I don't know how much he really enjoys playing the game of football. I've questioned that. Like, even if you see some old interviews with him, and you know, they ask him about his time with Arsenal and his time with all this stuff, all this great stuff that he's done, and he's like, I don't know, he kind of just brushes it off, and not like in a conceited kind of way, but more like in a meh kind of way. You know, I don't know how much so like if things are not coming easy to him, like, you know, he doesn't play because he loves it. He plays just because he's always been very, very good at it.
Yeah.
And
okay, that's
so he's
what
got
you mean
the
by
mental hang up. He's got this mental hang up now where things aren't coming as easily to him as they were before. You know, a guy who already suffers from that kind of attitude problem, syndrome, whatever you want to call it, might be a little hard to snap out of.
The only thing though,
yeah, the Carlos Vela syndrome.
Yeah, the only thing that is that
right now he's not caring about soccer. That's Carlos Vela too.
Yeah, like the only difference that I see between them though is that Carlos Vela was able to be successful even if he was not like one of the top teams in at first it was in England, but he was still successful. But Campbell, on the other hand, though, he went to like a site like Frosinone and nothing happened. Yeah. So that's one big difference. Like they both are quality players, but one took advantage of that, and like Carlos Vela scored 13, 14, 12 goals in 3 seasons, and then Campbell, I think he probably scored like 3, 4 goals with Frosinone, and probably like I don't know. Like I'm pretty sure he never reached 10 digits. That's for sure. And that's an aside. You know, like Frosinone, which like, do you know Frosinone before we signed Campbell?
No.
I love that. But look, that's not the point. The point is, I think maybe with I think with Campbell, maybe you're right. He could be this kind of person with that attitude, but you can only be like that for so long until you start seeing people like Selección de Costa Rica that you're not going to be called up. And I don't care if you play with Arsenal and this and that. Like, I think that's happening to him. Maybe it's getting to him. Maybe he does have this. I'm telling you, this is why they took him to Vallarta. It's not because they're going on vacation. They're having an intervention. The CEO,
There's
what's going on? You know,
there,
where it's
there's something
acceptable to have tequila shots. No, I'm playing. Don't take tequila shots, Campbell.
there's something that they pointed out in the transmission of the game, and they were talking about like how like when Campbell came in, he looked como que se le mira diferente. O sea, like instead of him trying to shot a goal, he just passes it to the side. Like he's not como que no se atreve, tiene miedo, no sé.
Confianza, you know, it's not.
Just shake it off. Shake it off. We need it. We need to see it. We need to see it. Like we all know his capabilities. Like he needs to just put on a show, the Joel Campbell show when he subs in. Like
we need to give him some time in La Sub-20 so he can score like 10 goals and come back with like crazy confidence.
I gotta come out with confidence. He's tripping, but yeah, I'm telling you, watch.
Oh God! And that reminds me of the Club de Cuervos piece where they went to this like retreat. Anyways,
I'm just
Jose,
gonna
give a couple more.
Finish with two.
Okay, yeah.
I don't want to take too long, guys. But so
pretty cool, though.
This is gonna be like.
Uh-oh.
Wait, next one. So. Difícil estar contento con un triunfo así. You probably saw this one. Foul inventado de Campbell, which I don't agree with, que compra el referee y la mano por la que cobra el penal es dudosa para mí. Bajo nivel, desorden total. A la no se... ¿Qué? No se le cae... I don't know what he was trying to say there. No se...
Is he saying that we're getting...
No se le cae una idea nueva. No, well, I'm just gonna erase that. No hay referente que se cargue el equipo. Qué difícil será la liguilla.
Louis gonna disagree.
I feel some points there, but I agree with almost like 7.
I know. I agree with not being completely content with the way we won. I mean, we've been spending the whole show talking about that. I don't agree with his reasons though. I mean, like. Oh, you know, it might have been a light foul, but we'll never know. Well, you know, that's not something to dwell on. You know, we still had a great free kick that came right after that. That required a ton of quality to happen the way it did. If we're gonna complain about why we don't like to win that way, you know, all that time we had dominating the game and didn't do anything in the first half. The first hour, that's why you know, playing against an obviously inferior opponent. It would be an inferior opponent even if they had their full squad, which they didn't. They had a lot of absences and a rookie goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I told Carlos last week I don't see any way this doesn't finish 3-0. And we were in, and so like the longer it went, and they were struggling to you know, dominating but struggling to make their. You know, the things he chooses to be upset about are not the reasons for me to not like the way we got that result. But I definitely understand not liking the way we got the result. I mean, now when the dust is settled and we can see all the implications of what getting those points means, and the fact that we were the better team and did deserve to win, and that isn't always reflected in the scoreline, and it ended up being. You know, there is some satisfaction to be taken from it, but I mean, I agree. Especially at the time, that just felt crappy. That did not feel like even a win, let alone a good win. I just don't agree with the reasoning. It was I mean, you know, the foul didn't grant us the goal. The quality of Meneses and Chapo's decision making did, and the penalty was a clear penalty. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that. The penalty was a clear penalty. So the goals were completely deserved in both cases, and we got the result. The run of play is what bothered me.
Yeah.
So I get what he's saying. Just not the reasoning.
Okay.
Agreed. I'm not even gonna say anything because that's just
like.
Let's move on.
He summed it up.
All right, just one last one. Okay, so Cruz Azul ya se descarriló. Muchachos, esto
Oh.
estará entre Club León y Tigres
Tigres,
nuevamente. Y sí, nuevamente en León. Agárrense que se nos viene la revancha.
I saw that one.
Fine. I saw that one, and I'm
That
like,
makes me nervous
typical
just thinking
Tigres.
about it.
No, but then, like I said, we're probably going to play them differently because we are playing very differently in a way. But who knows? I'm always
but
going to be
that,
nervous.
that game with Tigres,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, I'm also.
No.
I don't want that to be actually. I actually wanted to be Cruz Azul. I want it to be already like León, Cruz Azul, La Maldición del No Camp, and all that stuff. But we're gonna beat them.
Better knock on wood, because
we're gonna convince them. Like, you don't want to win here again, Cruz Azul. You don't want to. What happened last year?
I don't know. It could turn out that way, but if Tigres get stuck in the repechaje, that could be interesting.
Yeah.
They have kind of a tough schedule to finish out. Tougher. They have to play Cruz Azul and America still.
Yeah.
So anything could happen. But yeah, I mean, Tigres of the teams immediately behind us, they do look to be the best on form, which is funny because when we had their guy on here, he was like, "No, this is not the season where they turned it around. There's absolutely no way." He was convinced. No, we're not gonna have the great finish this time. This is just gonna be a bad season, and that's what. And he was wrong. At least
he was wrong, and I hate him for that.
Now.
He convinced me. Right? He convinced I don't have to worry about Tigres this season. And next thing you know, they beat Monterrey. Now they're on a little, good luck. I don't know. I don't want to think about it though. But they are.
Don't think about it. We just need to get through.
We'll manifest it, and then
don't trigger a flag. Javier, don't do it.
Don't do it.
All right.
Don't go.
No.
Nah, I want it to be Leon America, so we can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big.
That'd be sweet.
Well, either America and Cruz Azul.
I'd like it.
Okay, guys, let's just make it to the final first, because y'all making me just nervous thinking about this. Like,
hey, now that we're talking about that, because that tweet that you sent me,
and I want Chivas en cuartos, though. That's another thing. I want Chivas en cuartos.
I don't think I just need to be out, like, period. Not even make liguilla.
So that tweet that you sent me,
Chivas, they're probably gonna. Damn, Kari. They're probably gonna qualify. And if so, why not face them?
I'm just speaking for me and Louis at this point.
I want Leon to eliminate them. I want them like 5-7-0.
How about they just don't even make it? Like, that's just like,
Well, I like Cruz Azul because I'd like us to be responsible for another 23 years of suffering.
See, I fancy your chances because like Javier sent me this tweet from Netflix MX, and then I commented on there, so I was like, well, and I was like, oh well, because they were saying like how like this is the fifth time that we win 10 consecutive games in a row. The highest one was like 13 games in the 1992-93 season, and the second one 12. La Clausura 2019.
Was it consecutive wins or not losing consecutive?
Oh no. Unbeaten.
Okay, yeah, unbeaten. Yeah.
Unbeaten streak.
So draws.
So the first one was 13 matches, 1992-1993 season.
That was a good season.
Second one 12 matches. Clausura 2019. 11 matches, Apertura 2016. I think Pizzi was the coach, if I remember. 1991. Was it Pizzi? Yeah, right.
Louis loves Pizzi, and then that era, at this favorite era. Who was 2016?
No, Pizzi was good. Come on, Pizzi was good.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying Louis loves that era. He knows that whole era by perfection.
Oh yeah.
I do. Well, that was when I really started to go to attend matches. There were some fun games in that era too.
See, I'm telling you. I know Louis.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
we made 2 semifinal appearances in that span or something like that. Maybe
The entire year of 2016. I think was it both?
Well, I guess the year I more vividly remember, I suppose, is Torrente because of that stretch of like 10 games where we had to.
La camisa de Torrente.
And Guillermo, yeah, la cábala,
why do you
la
hate
cábala, la
Torrente?
camisa de Torrente.
Because of la cábala de la camisa. You bought one. I know you did.
Bro,
No, I don't.
You did not buy one.
I did not buy one. They did
Okay,
sell
I
them.
was like,
They did sell them in La Guarida, but I never bought. I never bought.
that's I don't know.
Yeah.
That was not cool, man. Like, why would you sell
But going
that?
to all those games, basically.
No,
But imagine, imagínense, going to all those games during that stretch where we basically had to win every single one, even have a chance to get in. So like there were a lot of fun games. Especially the one I remember most is against Veracruz, where we came back to win 3-2 in Veracruz at the end. First a goal by Diego Novaretti, if you can believe that, and then one to win the game by Boselli, like the last few minutes.
Can't believe that.
To win in Veracruz. Yeah.
We also
and if we lost, basically, like any one of those games in that stretch, if we lost, like so they all felt like finals to me. That's why I have such a vivid, fond memory of all that stretch.
With Azul and León, where Bordizo scores.
Yes, that was a great last day of the regular season.
I screamed my lungs out when he scored. Yeah.
So that's when we lost because we got cheated by Tigres. See, that was a robo.
That is
that was a robo.
That one,
yeah,
right?
That was a robo.
Yeah.
okay.
Guys, we have breaking news.
Offside on Gignac, and then the ball that never crossed the line.
Yeah, breaking news.
Guys, we have breaking news. Liga MX breaking news. Mazatlan FC have just hired Tomás Boy as their head coach.
Oh my god.
Tomás.
I saw that MX Drafts. Shout out to MX Drafts, good friends of mine. I saw that, and it's funny because me and Tom were talking about it yesterday, and we mentioned it. We're like, you know what? It wouldn't be a surprise. And then I checked my phone, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, this is clown season, apparently.
Can't wait for reveal dances.
Have you seen that video where they put
because he scored against León.
Cumbia song? And then he's
Oh, you gotta send us that.
Yeah.
Increíble jugador, pero
I mean, the second thing that León has done is had a coach fired this season. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's like 2 already, right? Or 3. No, 2 this season.
This season 2.
2 this season.
2 this season. Yeah. 5 total of this Liga MX.
3 Piojo next week. Watch when we score 7-0.
The week after that, but
week after that. Barcelona Bayern Munich vibes. I feel it.
Oh gosh,
it's gonna happen, guys.
So where I was going with what I was saying, basically in those unbeaten streaks that we have had on over the years, in 5 seasons, basically we had made at least 2 finals, 2 semifinals, and one of them nos quedamos con un título. So we're not doing quarterfinals, guys. It's gonna be semifinal or final, hopefully final. So
hopefully campeones, bro. We got this. I do think we got this, man. I think these players have to have it in their heads that all of these losses they had in the last couple of Conca Champions and against Morelia and in la final with Tigres, same coach, it's like the same players. Honestly, they've got to learn from these mistakes, and I do think it was kind of being reflected with Mazatlan. Like I felt it again. Like
I can't take you seriously when you say it like
that. Well, even they make fun of themselves.
Yeah, I mean we do, but we don't.
Yeah. Even the Mazatlan guy, he has cockroach tattoo.
Mazatlan. Okay, so we're gonna wrap things up. This show has gone way longer than we expected.
That always happens, Cuddy.
That always happens.
Except last week, Carlos and I were super efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Quick.
Yeah.
Good job, guys. I mean, it's different with 2 people talking versus 5. So thank you, Jose, for giving us kind of a new segment. We hope to get
I had
more of
fun.
that stuff for next week. This was episode 49 of M&M Victory regarding recapping what happened, everything in the Mazatlan game. Upcoming match, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, will be against America. So we'll definitely duo pod with the Eagle Eye podcast. We're kind of yet to confirm how we're doing it, but we'll be bringing you content for recap and preview of that match. Definitely a good matchup. We will see what happens. Before we leave, don't forget to check out, if you haven't, the Club Leon en.com. Type it in on your phone so you guys can go to the page. It has been updated, so we'll bring you a fresh new video next week of new features that have been added. Everything from news to schedule, and definitely our upcoming what's it called, games, and all our podcasts are listed up there, depending which one you want to pick and watch or listen. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We do have a Facebook page, on Twitter and YouTube, and you can also scan the QR code to go to it directly if you just don't want to type in. So thank you guys so much for watching. Oh, and Ivan from the Eagle Eye podcast, he said we'll be ready, so we'll have definitely some fun stuff for
Was
you
that
guys.
right now?
No, yes, right now.
Yeah, right now.
Live comment.
Hey.
Live comment.
Javier,
you're gonna lose.
we are still live, Javier.
We'll be ready too.
We'll be ready to
Okay.
chat it
We're-
up in a peaceful manner,
We're born
for sure. So yeah, guys. So thank you
Okay,
so
we're
much
talking
for
to you.
watching. Thank you so much for watching this long episode, episode 49 of the Lions Den podcast, and we'll catch you guys in next week's episode, episode 50. We'll see you guys later.
Wow.